look at that.
This is a test of Streamlabs. And I wanted to show off my bows, even though it's a tragedy that my favorite one was taken today. I gave one away to my friend Mayfly, and she liked it a lot more than I expected her to. She really, and actually she was pretty good. So, anyhow, this one goes to Bree Shore. And she takes it, and it's pretty good. It has a few issues. It's a little bit out of alignment, and you kind of have to readjust the strings along the seals every now and then. When you look at it like this, it almost looks crooked when you have the handle, but then when you take it off, I don't know, maybe it is a little crooked, but I'm not really sure. Anyhow, it does shoot straight. It shoots really well. It's about, I think it was about 35 pounds with a really long draw. Like you can overdraw this thing like crazy. I think that's what it's called. And I can't really draw properly in here because of the low ceiling, but yeah. So this one's going to another friend of mine. This is the one that I made just the other day, and this is like the strongest recurve shape that I did. So it was a good experiment. And I learned that you have to be really accurate with recurves. Yeah. Oh yeah, also it's fucking like 2 a.m. And I slept like 3 hours yesterday, like 2 hours today, so I don't know. Just can't sleep. But anyhow, this is the first one that I made because I only had so much PVC. And this is like the longest section of pipe that I had. And it was 1 inch. So this one pulls 70 pounds. I had to make a stringer just to string this up. I had to put in wooden sias. I guess I didn't have to, but I wanted to make it as long as possible, so I put in like these paint stick sias. This thing is jank. But luckily they're really, really flush to the edge, so you know, they're utilizing the maximum strength of the wood. I made some risers just as an experiment, you know, and one of these days, this thing's just gonna fucking break. But yeah, it is really strong. I have a feeling it's just gonna collapse. Like it definitely will if I actually pull it back. But anyhow, this is the first one. I'm probably just gonna give it to my neighbor and see what he does with it. My second one, or at least my second one that worked, I think. I was like, oh, I need a longer, damn, I think I pulled something when I was trying to pull that one back. I need a longer bow, so I did this, and I was experimenting with paint, so this one looks terrible, but this one just has like this burlap sort of wrap on it, and then I started to kind of take the twine, the twine wrap looks good on here. We can get this light over here maybe, that might help. So like the twine wrap on the handle looks good, and it looks rough maybe, but it feels decent. You know, it's not too rough on the hands or anything. This is also 1 inch, and then I was just experimenting with, you know, looks. So I did it halfway. And this one pulls, oh, I can't remember, it's like 50 or 62. Like it's pretty heavy, and it's still pretty short, but my neighbor really likes this one. This one does shoot. Yeah, so this, oh wow, I think I'm getting stronger. Or at least my technique is improving, at least a little bit. But I'm going to give this one to my neighbor for sure, because he expresses that he likes this one, and it's an experiment, so yeah. This one is more of just a decurve, I guess. You know, like, just the limbs kind of curve back a little bit so that it naturally falls into place, and, you know, gently sloping forward, so it's not like a recurve or anything, but it works, you know. Yeah, turns out alright. I did have to make 2 notches on this one, obviously, because, yeah, I needed a stringer, so. There's that one, giving that one away, for sure. I'm gonna give like half these away like an idiot. So, I'm kind of running out of PVC at the moment. Also probably because, well, I mean, this is also, this is some used PVC. But this one was, I re-attempted this So I reshaped this one. And it still does not shoot for shit. But this was supposed to be a Japanese Yumi, just because I like how elegant they look, but I think that may just be because of the, kind of more elegant technique. Anyhow, so this one is asymmetric. You hold it down here, and do the whole, stand sideways, look at the target, and then hug the tree. This is way too big. And then lift it up, and then draw. But, yeah, obviously I'm no expert. So this one still sucks, and the draw weight might be 20 pounds. I don't know. Like, it is stupid easy to pull back, so I think it probably needs to be quite a bit stiffer. But I just don't really know how to do that with such a huge piece of flexible pipe, so I don't know. Maybe I'll still work on it, but it really does seem pretty bad. It does not shoot straight. The first arrow I shot with this thing hit the shed, and it was like 5 a.m. because I was excited to try it. But it hit the roof of the shed, threw spikes everywhere, and then flew off into the field. Like, it actually went pretty far. I mean, I'm sure it could propel a long arrow a long distance, but yeah, I had to go get it like 2 days later. So, yeah, anyhow, one of the bows collapsed. I can't remember if it was second or third or what, but yeah, here's I'm going to have to take a few pieces out of this just for trying things, but where was that? I think it was like this. Yeah, it was like that. Oh yeah, so it was a recurve like this. I think it was a bit longer because I was using a few pieces out of this just for trying to make like tabs and stuff, but yeah, I suppose I learned that the handle really does need to be flattened in the direction of the bow at least a little bit. Like, you don't want to do it too much. This one is flattened too much, I'll show you that. But and then this taper is really wobbly. Like, I was trying a whole bunch of different things. So yeah, this one is not very good. And then I was also experimenting with gold paint on PVC. So there's that. Still going to use those pipes for, I don't know, whatever. This one was good. I mean, it was pretty good. It shot well. It does look pretty good, I think. It has a really high relief, but, I mean, that's still alright. I think if I just add an arrow notch or an arrow rest, it'll be fine. But, this one kind of has settled in. It was crooked for a long while, but I kept on trying to, like, nudge it into the right direction. I think it kind of has settled in. But the thing is that, this wrap I did, which looks really nice, at least it does up close. It's pretty dark, I know. This thing just, I don't know what I did wrong. It was shooting really accurately for a long time. I sanded it, and then I put a finish on it, that's a little bit streaky. It was supposed to look like wood. It doesn't really, but it basically looks like fake wood. But whatever. And I just don't know what went wrong. I was shooting it in the same way that I was before, but I just need to, like, take off the grip, which is very thoroughly attached, and maybe mess with it just a little bit more, but which is a pity, because I really do like this one. It's small, it's light, it's thin, it is still kind of long though. I don't know. It's a really good size. It's an good all-rounder, but it was just kind of, because I made the handle too thin, and since I have wrapped it, it's gotten a lot better, but yeah, it was just kind of twisting a little bit as I was going, so I don't know. I like it still, but it is a pity that it's just not quite living up to what it was going to be. And then after I got some idea with how to kind of shape the bow a little bit more, and I realized that you gotta kind of not make things too thin and all that, went on to this one. Oh shit. So this one is for, I made this one for Jill, and the first time that she shot it, I was like, oh god, she's not going to be able to do this at all. And then she came back with Mayfly. Oops, this is not the right string. Why is this not the right string? I think I just got my stringer. Shit. That might be Mayfly string. That'd be fucking funny. Yeah, I've got all these strings. Where do these come from? Anyhow, this one's Jill's. Because this one I experimented with a different notch technique, which I just kind of made up. I don't know if it's real or not. I think I've seen it before. But you put the loop through this notch on top and then wrap it around either side so that, and then you pull it tight and it just looks like this. I think it may be a stronger design and potentially centered faster than just having two knocks on the side, but that's really, I don't think that's very good for a recurve. This is really mild. Like, it's a very, very mild recurve. This one pulls actually 40 pounds, I think. But, yeah. I can do it now, but when I first started stringing this thing up, it was a pain. And, it was a little wonky. Like, it was twisted a little bit on either side. Now it's, like, I've corrected it, so it is pretty straight. I've gotten a lot better at making these. But I was really nervous. I had already painted everything, and it has just like a, you know, like a really splattery sort of fucking Walmart look. I don't know. The texture is pretty unremarkable. It's just paint. It's black with red over the top, and it ran out, so I just kind of, you know, splattered it really. But then after everything was done, I already had a varnish on it that had dried for like 2 days. I didn't want to fucking breathe in all these fucking fumes, but I had to heat it up still and recorrect everything, you know, like spin it around, and I got it. I also think I might be suffering from a little bit of nerve damage from all this paint, but this one still shoots really nicely. This may be one of the best ones that I've made. Yeah, and this one's Jill's, so if we ever go camping, which is not likely to happen, she could take this. Jill is... she's got a guitar that she never uses, even though she expresses that she likes to play guitar, but she never ever uses it. It's just kind of the way she is, you know. She wants to be cool, I guess, but feels probably maybe demotivated by the skill that, you know, doing things like this or playing guitar require. So then she just doesn't do it. But, you know, nobody's perfect. Okay, and after I did Jill's, then I did Mayfly's. No, then I did mine. Oh, damn it. Fuck. The reason why I got the wrong string is because that was my string, I think. That might be the right one. Yes. Yeah, this is the right one. This is the correct size. After wearing in the string a little bit, they start to get worn along the knocks. Makes it a lot easier to tell which one's which. And also, some of these just have, like, oof, oof. Some of these just have, like I can tell by how much is left here. This one here. This one really is my favorite. This is basically a longbow. It's not quite a recurve because it's just really gentle. It has some decurve to set it in straight, and then limbs that are shaped. And the entire thing is tapered. I did all of the tapering basically by, I kind of worked it with a board a little bit, and then I really just like fine-tuned it with just a glove, and it was hot, and my fingers still hurt. but this one works really well. The string slap is nasty, but whatever. This one is long, and it shoots straight, and it is fast and powerful. Oh, look at that. I've never actually seen this thing drawn. But I do like this one quite a bit. The limbs are kind of equal, and and it's kind of, when I was messing around with, playing with sort of wooden textures and all that, this one does look pretty wood. It doesn't look like pretty wood, but it looks pretty wooden, I think. Like wood with a big old shiny gloss on it. Kind of like a strange red elm or something. That's my imagination, but I think it looks good. Shoots good. I'm very proud of that. And I don't have enough 1-inch pipe to do that again. Also, 1-inch pipe is actually kind of hard to work with. It takes a lot longer to heat up. It takes a lot more effort to flatten. You can burn it. I mean, you can burn the 3/4 inch too, but since you have to heat it longer, you can burn easier. But, yeah, I just really wanted a big fucking overcompensating bow so everybody knows how fucking lame I am. And it worked. I actually made this thing after I made the original stringer, and I used the string on that. And I was like, oh my god, this huge stringer actually fits on this. And then I have, that's it, yeah. Oh, this one. When I got around to, after that one, then I worked on this one. This is Breeze that I already showed. And then I worked on these gold bands, which, this bow was such a fucking pain in the ass. For when I was drunk, Macaroni and Brie were here. And then it was like 2 a.m. and I was fucking going strong. And I was like, I'm gonna make a bow. Why not? I'm drunk. And then I just started shaping this thing out. And I said, which one do you want? And she wanted she picked like a Mongolian sort of shape, because I have just like a plain old, like a diagram, kind of like the oak wood or whatever they're called, swords, whatever, like all the different types. And she picked like more of this kind of shape. And I wanted to make a longer one because I wanted the draw weight to be lower, but also have like the recurve design, because it's a little bit more of a Cupid thing. And I kept on talking about Cupid, like, oh, you should I'll make a Cupid bow. And then I was working on it basically all night until I finished the shape. And then, yeah, the next morning I got up and I started working on this again. And it had a lot of problems. This one took the longest for sure. The tapering was off. It had like kinks in it from me being drunk and doing shit, and it was twisted in multiple different ways. So I had to fix all this multiple times. I was all morning, I would just be like, like shape it just a little bit, twist it a little bit, run it under cold water, go outside, string it up, shoot, and then come back in and then twist it and taper it again, whatever. And these Sias, since they were so flat that the string would just pop right off and the string would go around to the front. So I had to make sort of like a groove in the Sia, which, I mean, of course you have to do that for such stupid Sias. I'm just an idiot. For the string to settle into. And since I've done that and I've painted it, I painted this thing all night. I stayed up till like 8 a.m. or something like that painting this thing. So I started with a sand, just like a sand coat, and I didn't even take off the letters because I was like, this is going to be one hell of a dark coat. And then I did a white base, and I kind of let that dry for a little while. I was rushing this so hard, so I was like, had a hair dryer and everything. I just wanted to get this thing done, because at this point it was so much effort. So the paint was never dry. And then I did I did like 2 or 3 coats of white, and then I would like sand it a little bit just to get some like marks in it. Oh jeez, see if I can flash that over here. Show this a little closer. Oh well, I have this one, but this one's really powerful. Let's turn this one up here. There we go. So don't know if you can see this or not, but there's like this horrible texture on the front. And that is from, one, I would be like, you know, that stupid thing that you do when you test paint and you would like touch it and you're like, oh great, now I left my huge ass fingerprint on there. And so then I would like let it dry a little bit longer and then sand off so that I had, it's actually like the texture looked like wood. So it would have like streaks and like marks that were not entirely, like they had shape to them as a wood grain would. And so I was like, wow, that looks great. So I started doing that with the whole thing. And then I took a red-brown gel wood stain, covered that thing with it, which wood stain is gnarly and it will like take up old paint. Like even paint that is not super, that has been around for a while, it will, if you rub it a little too much, it'll take it up. So I had to do that. I had to hair dry it down for like a half hour, and then I put a varnish layer over that. I was like, stick, you fucker, you stick. And then I did another 2 gel stain coats. Then I did another varnish layer. Then I did these gold fucking bands, which the gold paint goes on super thin. So if you just, you know, mark it, touch it, the gold takes your fingerprint. It, like even if it's mostly dry, takes your fingerprint, marks, comes up, so it's like super obviously paint. It looked good at first, and what I did was I knew that painter's tape would take up the I should put this somewhere a little closer with better lighting, I think. But yeah, okay, maybe that'll do better. I knew the painter's tape would take up the varnish, the gel, everything. So I had a good idea. I don't know if it's a normal thing or not, but I thought, what would go really tightly around this, but it's not adhesive. You know, it's fast, it's everything, and I just got this tin foil because I've been out of tin foil because I use it for fucking everything. And I just wrapped it, you know, gently but tightly in tin foil. So the lines, originally, here's one of the original lines up here, but the original lines were really good. And I was like, oh my god, this is the best technique ever. And then I, you know, as I'm trying to, you know, work this thing and trying to wrap the handle or whatever, I mark up the gold in several different places, get my fingerprints all over it. So then I was like, great, well that worked until I fucked it up. So then I had to spray out just a little bit of gold because I had some gold acrylic, which looks like fucking brass, and it looks like shit. So I sprayed out some gold acrylic, or some gold spray paint, and used a paintbrush to apply it, which actually goes on pretty well with a paintbrush, surprisingly. Except that it kind of destroyed the paintbrush, but that's fine, I've got a few of them. And then, after the gold, I was like, how can I make this thing more gold? So, I took tinfoil, because I love tinfoil for fucking everything, and I spray painted the tinfoil gold. And then I was like, well, I'm going to see if I could wrap twine in gold tinfoil, and then wrap the handle in gold wrapped twine. So it's wrapped in wrapped twine, and it turned out really bad. It looked like I sprayed it and painted some tinfoil gold. I don't know what I was expecting. So I spray painted that gold, and then I put down a nail polish top coat over the top of that, just to kind of, I don't know, maybe it would bring out a shine and it would hold the tinfoil there in place. And that worked, but the next day, I was like, I'm just going to wait. Waited the next day, it looked really fucking bad.
So I wrapped it again in twine, and now it's just twine with a little bit of kind of gold and metallic stuff kind of peeking through. And that looks okay. It looks fine. It's gonna work. I'm done with it. But, yeah, and then I added a milk jug arrow rest and wrapped the upper part of the handle with electric tape. So it looks a little rough. It has been shot out. Like, I probably put 100 arrows to it or something, but it shoots straight. It's not heavy. I didn't do stupid crazy knocks on top. Although I tried. I was like, let's do that bad decision again. The mistakes you make at 5 a.m. But instead it just turned into a sort of a very gently sort of, I don't know, tail sort of design. Yeah, and this one, it's not my favorite, but visually, I like this one a lot. And if she doesn't pick it up, I'm going to sell it.
Alright, so that's all of them. Yeah.
It's a bummer that you didn't get to see Mayflies, because Mayflies was probably about this long. I could probably attempt to recreate it, but yeah, it was probably, you know, a decent size sort of light D-curve design, and I had copper tips that went down about 6 inches or so on either side, and it has, I took black paracord and attached it to this vise, ran it across the other side of the room, and then took a power drill and wrapped it with copper wire. So it was copper why am I wrapping wraps? Anyhow, it was copper wire wrapped paracord, and it had, up at the top, right here, it had just copper wire wrapped all the way down, and then a small arrow rest with the handle right there. It looks good. It shoots really well. It's fast. It's pretty low poundage. It's like 30 pounds. But it shoots really well. And it looks elegant and kind of sexy. But Mayfly and Jill came over this morning because I've been doing this for like 2 weeks. And then I gave it to Mayfly, and she took it home. I think she may have forgotten her bowstring, but I'll ask her. She was stoned. It was good. Yeah, so there's that. And I don't know, I may want to do that one again because it was really good. It was a really gently sort of tapered design. It was, yeah, fun. Anyhow, that's all of it. That's all the bows. And so concludes the stream test. Goodbye.